All right, what's up, y'all? Y'all already know it's your boy Joaquin, new man, Buckley. Welcome to another episode of the Brick Brothers podcast. I got my boy Edric Dillon in the building with me. Man, we got a ton of great topics to talk about. We talking about UFC December 2nd card. We talking about the PFL and what they doing. We also speaking on Impa, man, my old opponent. So y'all definitely got to check in for that. So if y'all liking what we doing, please subscribe to the page. And also make sure to hit that bell for notifications when we drop the video. Let's get it. Let's skip to it, bro. PFL. 6 new champions, all millionaires right now. There was a big event. Derek Brunson ended up making his PFL debut at PFL against Ray Cooper. He did an excellent job, so shout out to Derek Brunson. And also to one of my opponents that I fought back in 2020 of October, where I did the highlight of the year, knockout of the year. My man just went out there and became the light heavyweight champion in the PFL, winning him $1 million. So we just about to go over those fights and just talk about, the moments. Derek Brunson, back out there, back with the PFL. How you think that fight went with him and Ray Cooper, man? What you think about that?
I was pleasantly surprised. Not that I didn't think that Derek Brunson's a great fighter. He had a really awesome career in the UFC. Something that you've talked about a lot in the past is just, unfortunately, when fighters stop doing business with the UFC, it's usually not on their terms, and then their post-UFC career is not as illustrious as their UFC career. So to see Derek Brunson get a win right off the bat, look strong, had a dominant performance, used his wrestling. He didn't look uncomfortable. It didn't seem like he got tired or anything. To see a dominant, good performance in his first fight in the PFL, that was good to see.
Yeah, man. Blonde Brunson looking like he really stepping into his own. Like, he looked better at PFL than he did in the UFC, which is kind of crazy to me. But for Derek Brunson to go out there and really be dominant like he was, you got a person like Ray Cooper who won the PFL championship like 2 or 3 times. So he's definitely a big threat. He beat Chris Curtis, he beat Rory McDonald, he beat some good notable names already. But for Derek Brunson to go out there and pretty much dominate my man for all 3 rounds, and my man did not get tired whatsoever. I ain't trying to put none speculation on him, but I'm gonna just say, Blonde Bronson, I think is the real deal at PFL right now. But my thing is with him moving to PFL, what big opportunities do you think now come his way? Do you believe that the Jake Paul fight is gonna be a real thing for Derek Brunson, and is it gonna be a smart idea for Jake Paul to actually try to make that fight happen?
I mean, I'm doubtful on him fighting Jake Paul. I don't think Jake Paul is gonna fight MMA. I mean,
what?
If I was him, I would just stick to what's working. The boxing bag seems to be the thing that's making him a lot of money. MMA is a lot more dangerous, a lot riskier. Derek Brunson, although he's getting up there in age, he's 39. He could be in a lot of trouble with Brunson being on him for 3 rounds. I would just stick to boxing. Like you're fighting guys in boxing who aren't the highest level boxers, and people are paying you top dollar for it. Why would I want to go fight a guy in MMA, potentially make less money, and then fight somebody who's a lot better than the competition that I'm facing in boxing?
I don't think he's making less money though, bro. That man got his hand in PFL as well. So that's the thing. So he's trying to make a pretty much not a return, but make a debut at the PFL in 2024. And he's claiming like that Derek Brunson, the reason why he got cut is because he asked Dana, go ahead, just release your boy real quick and bring him over here to the PFL. So
that's
I go
crazy.
whoop his ass. I was like, damn, that's wild.
No.
But do I see him being successful? Not really. But the thing is, Jake Paul done surprised me multiple times already.
Do you think that the demand is as high for him to compete in MMA that there is as him in compete in boxing? Because the only way I could see MMA fans want to see it if they're like rooting against him, wanting him to get his get killed in MMA. But I don't think that. I think a lot of people like the fact that he's getting the fighters paid. And speaking about some of the pay issues, regardless where you fall on that topic, it seems like MMA fans turn from kind of disliking Jake Paul now, like kind of.
No, it's not really the MMA fans. Like MMA fans, I don't think it's more of a boxing. Like, boxers really fuck with Jake Paul a lot more than I feel like MMA fans do, because he really getting boxers paid. Like, throwing at certain events, like really putting on these great events, whatever, for boxers to come out and actually get this money. Like, him like taking his own money, taking $1 million and giving it to his undercard type stuff like that. Like, he getting boxers paid. Now, he might bring up the issue about us,
but no,
but he ain't really like.
But he is fighting fighters, and they're getting some of their biggest paydays fighting him as well.
Right, the old ones, man. You know what I'm saying?
I
Niggas
mean,
that already got paid, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He can't fight everybody.
He got to fight
like,
me though, or something like that. Nigga, I got to get me a check, man. Shit, them old niggas that made their money.
Right.
But no, regardless though, man. Shout out to Derek Brunson, man. Congratulations to the move to PFL. You do your thing, man. But get that fight, bro, with Jake Paul, man. We'd love to see it. Next, man, we got Aspen Ladd, who also used to be in the UFC, who got cut due to weight issues. Unfortunately, she fought my girl Kayla Harrison, and it wasn't a really good fight for Aspen Ladd, though. I ain't gonna lie, man. Kayla went in there, whooped that ass, you know. But you know,
mad.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
No,
you know,
I get
it was nice control and dominant from Kayla Harrison. But Aspen just didn't have an answer for it. But obviously with Kayla being so dominant, you know, in her field and at her weight class, bro, it's gonna be hard to find a girl that can actually compete with her. So what do you think about Kayla Harrison's rise right now?
I mean, she's really good at what she does. She's a very heavy grappler, powerful, aggressive, and that's what she does to her advantage. And I won't say it was a bad matchup, but I didn't think, if you told me that Aspen Ladd was going to fight Kayla Harrison, I didn't think Aspen Ladd would be successful in the first place. No shame in trying. I'm not downing her, but I felt like that wasn't a tough test for Kayla. You know, obviously there's no fight that you have won before it happens, but I would love to see Kayla Harrison fight somebody, you know, a little bit stiffer in competition. I think she's killing everybody over there, and I would love to see what she could do. I don't know, like, obviously there's not a cross promotion, but, you know, facing some tougher competition.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got Bellator now being involved with the PFL. Now they have champions versus champions, which I think is dope, man. Like, that's what we need, just to see just these different promotions put together, because you really see, like, who's the best, right? You don't have to compare or think or guess when you actually have two of the best going at it and putting up their belts. But regardless, you know, with Kayla Harrison, she lost to Luna, so she will have to wait until Chris Cyborg and the PFL champion get at it, and then Kayla Harrison, she'll have to fight for her belt back. But regardless, though, I think, man, that's a big deal to have, you know, two promotions being able to put together so they can put champs versus champs, and I think it should be, you know, I think it should be a more regular thing, you know, with just different champions being able to cross promote, man, and actually bang it out with one another. What did you think about the PFL move being sold to, or Bellator being sold to PFL?
I mean, like you said, I think it's cool. You get to see dream matchups potentially between fighters. You know, like, for instance, Impa said he wanted to fight Nemkov. You know, that's something that we couldn't have seen before. A Francis Ngannou fighting some of their champions and so on and so forth. You know, Patricky Pitbull and so on and so forth. Fight some of the guys from the PFL organization. So that's really cool.
Man, yeah, it's dope, bro. We're going to line that up. So, man, talk about my boy Impa Kasaganai. Definitely did his thing out there, man, in the PFL. He fought this guy named Silveira, probably butchering his name as well. But, you know, Impa did his thing, man. He went out there, bro, and he Impa did his thing, man. He went out there, man, and pretty much showed a dominant performance within 5 rounds. Wasn't breathing hard. Was going out there and really showing his whole game, mixing up with the wrestling, with the striking, controlling the fight throughout the whole time. And I just want to say, bro, shout out to you, Impa, bro. You did your thing, but I'm going to just say this real quick. Leave Francis alone, bro. Leave Francis alone. You did a beautiful thing, man. You won. You get your money. You got your $1 million check, and I'm happy for you. But, man, Francis ain't that move, bro. Francis ain't that move. What you think about Impa, man, and winning that $1 million check?
I mean, it was great to see. I mean, I think everybody loves a good comeback story, obviously. The UFC career was, like, up and down, you know. 2-2, I think, in a promotion and got cut. And, you know, had some, you know, fighting Eagle FC, I think, for a little bit.
Lost that one.
Had some struggles, but, you know, when he got to the PFL, he just found his stride. And to see the way he looked in the fight, dominant, you know, I won't say it wasn't competitive, but he just looked so composed. He won round after round. I think he had outlanded, outthrew, had more takedowns, so it wasn't any area of the fight where he didn't control his opponent. So, I mean, it was just dope to see. And to win $1 million after being cut from a promotion a couple years later, that is,
Yeah. I mean, that's just a major move because, like, the come-up story is incredible. You know, just to see, you know, like you said, from coming from the UFC, being 2-2, being cut, then going into another promotion, not succeeding with Eagle FC, then going into some regional shows. He fought Jared Gooden in a lower, promotion in the regionals, knocked him out, right? Did his thing. And then he had a resurgence where he got signed to the PFL and he moved up in the weight class. Not expecting my man to do great things at 205, but went out there undefeated in the PFL, man. Went out there, beat the guy in dominant fashion for all 5 rounds, and just that type of success story, bro. Like it doesn't get any better.
It's like a movie.
It's like a movie.
Yeah.
But then my man get on the mic and say he want to fight Francis Ngannou, bro. And it just like, God damn, bro, But the reason why I believe that Impa says that is because just being that high off of winning $1 million, bro, like you say a lot of crazy things. But at the end of the day, it's just like my man really truthfully believes in himself. But me being a friend and being a brother, you Impa, leave Francis alone because he's just as big of that savage, right? You talk about somebody that has crossed the desert, right? Has done, unbelievable feats to change his life and create a new place for himself, right? So my man went all the way to Paris and was homeless and did all these things and then went into train MMA and didn't even know what it was when he first got started, right? This is the type of dude that you don't want to really get involved with in the cage because he's going to fight in a different type of manner. Impa, you have the great success of what you did and what you're doing, but don't spoil that by trying to fight somebody. And I don't know if it's for the bag, but don't do that though, right? Have your success, keep doing what you're doing, but don't try to involve the big Francis Ngannou into that pot. To me, I just feel like that's not what's going to help push that name even more. Because that fight not gonna go the way you think, all right. But other than that, man, it's a blessing that you did what you did and you've been able to change your life and you stuck to your code and you really went out there, bro, and you did your thing. But leave that boy Francis alone. That's all I gotta say, man.
No, you're right. I mean, I don't think he wants to fight Francis. If I'm a betting man, that's just something you say in the moment. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's like if I win a pickup game against you, I'm like, yeah, I could take on LeBron tomorrow. I don't
Bro,
actually mean it.
man.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he actually means that. Like, if they send the paperwork, do you think he'd actually sign to fight Francis Ngannou?
I think, I'll be honest with you, if Impa say it, he gonna do it. I'm just saying.
I'm not calling him a lie. I'm just saying. I feel like it's just one of the things you probably bit off a bit more than you could chew. I don't think that's going to happen. But, good luck to him. And Nemkov, that'd be a good fight.
Nemkov is a perfect
Great
fight. That made sense when he said it.
Francis Lee,
when he said Ngannou, I said Ngannou. Yeah, bro. Anyways, man, congratulations to Impa, man. You did your thing, bro. All right, so we got a lot of fighters on here, man. I can't pronounce none of these fools' names, bro. But you got another heavyweight that just won, Favera versus Gosov. Watch that fight. That was an awesome fight that they had. Favera, I feel like now that's a guy that can really call out, Francis Ngannou and really try to compete with the heavyweight champion, which we can call him lineal because he never lost his belt in the UFC. And I feel like at the end of the day, Favera is a great matchup for him, but they're going to have to wait before Bellator and PFL has to merge those championships together. So we're not going to see Francis for a while. So they talking about Francis probably not coming back until 2024 October or something like that, And while we wait, they trying to put up a great fight, which is Deontay Wilder and Francis. Now they haven't said the name, but we already know who they thinking about and who they looking at. What do you think about that fight being matched up with Deontay Wilder and Francis getting together?
I mean, it sounds interesting. I would love to see it. I'm extremely doubtful that would happen, only for the sense that I don't feel like Deontay Wilder has any previous experience in MMA, and he gets paid so well to be a boxer. I don't see him wanting to really do that. I mean, I think it's fun to play around with the idea, but if that fight happened, I'd watch it. I'd pay to see it. But I don't see it happening. Do you think that he would fight? You think he'd fight Francis in MMA?
I actually don't think Deontay gonna take it on.
Yeah.
Out of all people that say they gonna do a lot of things, I don't think Deontay really gonna take that fight. But it is fun to talk about. It is fun to mix up. It is fun to get the crowd speaking about it. And for Deontay Wilder, he really needs something to really bring his name back out there, right? To really get people to understand that he's still there, right? Because his loss to Tyson Fury, really kind of slowed down the whole career, and that's sad too because like being undefeated in boxing, you think you could be able to carry your career on for a long time, even off a loss. But it seems like a loss is so detrimental to these guys' game that it's just like you forget about all the great things that these guys have done. You talk about Deontay Wilder with all knockouts or all finishes, in boxing. But as soon as he loses to Tyson Fury twice, it's like a lot of people just like, oh, okay, we just going to keep him off to the side now. Because not a lot of people talk about the Bronze Bomber like they used to, right? So I feel like this right here, I feel like he's feeling like, okay, this is what's going to bring my name back out if I fight Francis Ngannou in MMA and PFL for a mixed rule match. But yeah, I don't think it's the smartest idea.
I would give him a lot of credit for doing it. It's just, unfortunately, we've had a lot of MMA fighters cross over and go into boxing. We've only really had James Toney to go over.
Only person, yeah.
So I just don't see them doing it. But if he did, more power to him. I'd love to watch it.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. James Toney didn't do it like a mixed rules though. Like no, James Toney did a straight up MMA fight, yeah. And it only lasted like 1 minute.
But I don't think Deontay Wilder's at the end of his career. I think he still has a lot more to do. I think he could, still be successful in boxing. Just because you lost to Tyson Fury doesn't mean your career is over. James Toney was kind of, out of his prime with the boxing, and I think he, it was a good payday or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if any current boxer will ever really do that. I would love to see it happen though. Like if Tank really did fight Sean O'Malley, like I would, that'd be crazy.
Oh yeah. Sean O'Malley dying, bro. I don't care. Nobody say, boy, he don't want to fight no Tank.
No, I meant if Tank crossed over.
Oh, if Tank crossed over. Oh yeah, but Tank making too much money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He just posted $5 million.
I saw. Yeah, that's my point. Like I don't see that happening. Like what could you gain?
Yeah, bro. They don't. Yeah. But just to be honest, right here, a lot of fights that I watched, man, was for Emperor and for the heavyweight fight. So I didn't really get to check in on these other fights. But you got the PFL doing their thing. They trying to compete with the major dogs in the UFC. I like what PFL doing, but I think it's going to be a long time before they even see themselves competing with the UFC and their numbers. They try to argue that, 40% of whatever of the numbers that the UFC gets, whatever, that they get as well from ESPN. But regardless, though, I don't feel like the same hype is for the PFL as well, because when I was watching the PFL and just little things like just even the crowd presence wasn't there. Like I thought it was COVID all over again. You know what I mean? It was just, when Kayla Harrison, when she won, she talking about, I want to fight Cyborg, woo, woo. Ain't nobody cheering, ain't nobody making no noise. So I feel like the PFL has a long way to go before they can actually start building up a reputation for actually competing with the UFC. What you think, bro?
I mean, I don't see any time in the near future anybody competing with the UFC. I think PFL has a niche, and what it does is good, and also gives fighters more opportunities to get paid. So I'm not mad about any promotion doing the thing, but as far as competing with the UFC is a juggernaut in my opinion, and I don't think the PFL has the namesake. Having a Francis Ngannou helps the process, but then you look at the UFC with the Connors, the Dustins, the just so many major fighters, and just the brand that the UFC's had over the last like 30 years or whatever. I just don't see anybody being able to compete with that.
Nah. But PFL been talking that hot shit, boy. Like
they
tried.
Yeah.
Man, let's get on some new topics though, man. You got your boy Garry out here, man. He out here trying to sue folks. Out here trying to sue Sean Strickland over his comments about his wife being a wag and how he needs to be protected. But man, I'm gonna let you lead, bro. What you think about that?
We gotta be careful so we don't get sued.
Oh yeah, that's 100. That's 100. Allegedly, with everybody.
Yeah. Like honestly, like for me personally, I'm not really a fan of when people make things super personal, get into the wives, girlfriends, families, so on and so forth. But I do feel like, I haven't competed in a while, but just as a fighter and the code that we stand by, we handle in the cage. We don't sue over it. I feel like there's somewhat of a code. Like you get your opportunity to go to that man. You can go to his gym, spar him, whatever, ask the UFC for a fight. But to sue somebody over them saying mean things, I just feel like that's just kind of low, especially when you had the T-shirt with Jeff Neal.
Man,
you're a trash
the future,
right? You're a trash talker yourself. I just think that's kind of lame. And then also like, he's like a big fan of Conor. Like that's all Conor did his whole career.
Right.
So it's just kind of weird that you would take it to that that extent. That's just kind of crazy.
And for me, I think it's just Ian Garry. Unfortunately, he's still trying to find his identity. He don't really know who he is within the game, and you see he trying to be like you, who you said, Conor McGregor. But bro, that's not you, obviously, right? Because once you start to get some heat taken your way, you don't know how to take it, and you look dead at your girl, and you be like, baby, what should we do? And she like, man, baby, you know, I've been learning law for a minute. You hear me? I've been reading some books. Maybe we should sue him. You know, but at the end of the day, it's just like, how you gonna sue people on the content that y'all post? Y'all posted about this stuff, right? She actually did put a book out there, regardless if it's satire or not, regardless if it's a joke. She put the joke out there, and we got the joke, right? But I find it funny that, you know, the things that you joke about is what you kind of actually do, you know? At the end of the day, she controlled that boy's whole thing. I think she might be even managing to do. I don't know who he's managed under, but it seems like she runs a lot of his career. Like, even when we was out there at the PI, bro, we was supposed to, you know, get a little situation going. My man waved me over, and I came over like, what's the word? He's like, man, maybe we should spar, Buckley. I'm like, all right, bro, say less. I had my seminar going on. I was like, all right, let's get it, bro. You can come to my seminar. We can spar. We can give like people a demonstration of what we do. My man didn't say nothing to me. My man looked straight to his girl. And she was like, oh, yeah, he has the EKG. He has to check his heart rate and shit. I'm like, hey, don't worry about that. That take about 10, 15 minutes. You can come, as soon as you get done to that,
Right.
roll to the gym. He still looks straight at his girl. Oh, we got a lot of social media and stuff. But regardless, though, he looked and depends on her to speak up for a lot of things that he do, So I feel like she has a lot of run into what he does. But unfortunately, though, he's going to catch the tail end because obviously you, the fighter, you're the person that is supposed to be the man of the relationship, but you took her last name, And with Ian, it's just like I kind of feel sorry for the dude because he don't even know, right? And he just trying to do the best that he doing because he actually love the girl that he with, but you really just getting played out here, man, with the industry girl. It's unfortunate, though. It's unfortunate.
No. And just another thing, too, is like, I can see if his wife didn't have a public profile as well, but when you choose to speak about your significant other there in the limelight somewhat as well, you can't get mad that people talk about them. If you want to shield your family from that and live a more private life, then I understand that. But to try to sue somebody over something that you make public itself, that things that you said, things that she said, things that are on record, that's just crazy to me. I don't
that's and wild because then they try to come back out with a little video trying to, tell everybody, all right, if y'all keep talking about this, you hear me? Like, this is defamation. My ex-husband don't live with us, okay? Then why did Ian Garry say, hey, instead of crying on my shoulder, you need to go to your ex-husband room and cry on his? Why that boy got a room? So now I really understand what wags means. She a wife and a girlfriend at the crib. You can't tell me nothing, bro. Like, come on now. And it's just like, it's sad because, like, you can't be out here trying to be the tough guy. And like you said, you posting pictures of a dude's mugshot on a shirt. You trying to tell Neil Magny that he beats his kids. And then you going to tell your former partner who you used to train with that you Jesus. That's wild, bro. You know what I mean? My man Vicente Luque just got baptized. He talking about, man, I'm going for my Lord and Savior. I just want to say thank you because without him, I would have nothing. And he said, yeah, he going to be standing in front of you. He said, tall, blind, and all powerful.
Yeah,
I said, this nigga think he Jesus. I said, wow, no wonder he thought he could save her. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, though, man, I just thought that was funny, man. It's a hot topic right now that's on everybody's mind. But Ian Garry, man, cut it out, bro. You gonna have to go through some wedding counseling, marriage counseling, man, between you and your girl, and hopefully y'all able to figure it out, man. Because, man, your girl wilding, bro. She in control of it, bro. You got to cut them strings, dog. You got to cut them strings, baby. All right, what else we got?
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Said divorce.
Driving it in.
Nigga just said divorce.
No,
I ain't say divorce. I said
no,
counseling.
you should have hit him with, don't sue me, bro.
Yeah. Hold on, yeah, don't. All right, bro. So we got a big card that's coming out December 15th, 16th for UFC 296. You got Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. You got You got Ian Garry versus Vicente Luque. And there's another fight that I'm watching out for. You got Wonder Boy versus Shavkat. Now, out of all those fights, I believe there's one fighter that's not finna show up.
Who's that?
Unfortunately, bro, I think it's Wonder Boy. Wonderboy would not be showing up to his fight against Shavkat Ramadov, man. And there's only one reason why. Because he ducked him the whole time. He never wanted to fight the kid in the first place when they first offered him the fight. So now that he has the opportunity to fight him, I believe that, he understands with his age and with his style that if he fights a kid like that, it's over, right? He's not going to be able to fight for a belt again, and it's more likely that he won't be able to have a good matchup made up after with the UFC because his relationship, I believe his career is going to be put to an end. So I believe that Wonderboy is not going to show up to this fight, man, and I want to be the one that replace Wonderboy and fight Shavkat Ramadov, man. What you think, though, for me?
Oh, if you fought Shavkat?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little biased, obviously, but I think it's a good fight for you. I think Shavkat is a person with a lot of hype behind his name, and I think a lot of it's warranted. He's talented, but I think that you match up very well with him, and I think you would shock a lot of people with how well you do against Shavkat.
Yeah, I think so, too. Man. So y'all heard this from me. UFC, got Dana, Mick, Sean. Wonderboy don't show up, y'all know who to call, man. Call your boy New Man, so Buckley. Get me in the building. All right, well, you see, the PFL trying to compete with the UFC, and you got two of the greatest heavyweights, in MMA history. You got John Jones and Francis Ngannou. Do you believe that the PFL and the UFC will help us out as the fans? Because even myself, even though as a fighter I'm a fan, come together and let this fight happen? Or you think the UFC is just going to stay separated and let John Jones heal up and just fight Stipe?
I mean, I think Dana kind of answered that in the presser.
Right.
I don't think he's rocking with that idea, but it's still fun to say what if. So I posed a different question. What do you think would happen if they did fight?
Man, you talking about John Jones, bro. The GOAT in everybody's eyes. And then Francis Ngannou, bro. It's hard just to say who will win, you know what I mean? Because there's so many different ways of how the fight can turn out. But people know what I think about Francis Ngannou, man. I think Francis has done great, incredible things, man, in his career in a very, I guess you could say a short amount of time, right? And learning the sport. And my man has done unimaginable things and even going towards the boxing. So I feel like Francis Ngannou is literally on some chosen king, chosen guy type stuff. And I feel like, if he ever fought John Jones, I really think that Francis probably knock out John Jones, bro. And it'd be bad. It'd be vicious,
I agree. And something that's crazy that people think about, if you said to me that Francis Ngannou will beat Tyson Fury or be competitive with him in boxing, I would have laughed at you. And most people think that Francis won. I thought it was competitive. It could have gone either way. But if Francis can be competitive with Tyson Fury in boxing, there's no reason why I feel like he couldn't beat John Jones in an MMA fight. I feel like the first one sounds far more far-fetched and unlikely than the other. The reason why I think Francis would have probably been very successful against John is because Francis, when he changed his style to be super patient, like Stipe had so much success in the first fight and just no success in the second fight. I don't think that taking Francis down is easy when he's not lunging forward and being overly aggressive. So John would have had to strike with him, and you're just playing with danger with that. Man. If it's a striking fight, I think Francis can knock out anybody. That's just my personal opinion. So obviously, if John can get a takedown, that changes the course of the fight. But when Francis is patient and not being overly aggressive and not just well in haymakers, I think he could beat anybody. I didn't see anybody with a formula, not Tom Aspinall. I didn't see anybody with a good formula to beat Francis Ngannou in the UFC.
And like you said, bro, when you playing with that fire, you standing on the feet, and obviously we all know the fight starts on his feet. It's just like, John, you already know, it never had really the best defense. Even when we watched the Dominic Reyes fight, we watched the Thiago Santos, a lot of fights he got touched up in, at 205. So going up to heavyweight, even though he had to fight with Cyril Gane, you see what he do to the fight.
Yeah,
immediately to the ground, did not hesitate, right?
Yeah.
But you talk about Francis Ngannou, which, obviously with John Jones, he's working his grappling. His background is Greco, right, Roman. I just feel like, John Jones wouldn't be able to bully Francis Ngannou and get him straight to the ground like he did. That's a big old boy, man. Cutting all the way from 300. He weighed in against Tyson Fury. He was about the same size, about 320.
I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy if so.
Something crazy like that, right? So, having to cut that weight, man, and cut that weight down to 265, I just believe that, Francis just is a powerhouse. But then, like you said, he patient too. So he's poised now. So that's a different type of beast because now he's watching you come in. He not coming in like he fought Rosenstrike, right? He came in just all wide and stuff like that. And, that Francis right there, maybe John Jones has a chance, to capitalize. But with a Francis that fought Stipe when he fought Stipe at his best, right? Coming off of wins, nah, bro. I don't see John Jones doing it.
And something even crazy to think about, like Francis Ngannou has lost at heavyweight in the UFC, but he's never been knocked out.
Never. No, he never seen the bright lights.
Can you name
he ain't never seen the bright lights.
Can you name a heavyweight in the UFC that's never been knocked out before? Like that's just a crazy stat. Like
that is crazy. I never even thought about that.
Like he never got finished as far as I remember. Stipe by decision. Derek Lewis in the most boring decision ever.
Yeah.
John Jones.
He never even got finished. So like heavyweight is like flip a coin. Like the fight might not make it out the first round. So we look at it like that. I just don't know if John can stay off of his power for 5 rounds. That's the thing. You have 5 long rounds. Nobody's gotten him out of there.
Right.
I don't see it.
You can't use that reach, John. You can't use that reach no more. You hear me? You can't point them fingers out there. I don't know, man. And it's just, bro, it's the fight that everybody wants to see. And I feel like the UFC, they got to at least let that slide for the one time.
I would love it, yeah.
Allow Francis Ngannou and John. I don't even care. Don't let nobody be on the card. It just be them 2 heavyweights, man.
Right.
Just let those 2 guys go at it because at the end of the day, it's all about the fighters, man, and making the best matchups happen. And obviously, with you talking business, it's not good business for the UFC to do. All they doing is helping out the PFL. All they doing is giving Francis Ngannou. But damn, I thought y'all for the folks. Thought y'all was for the people.
Best
UFC,
entertainment, right?
Yeah, man, massive entertainment. So I feel like for real, if we can make dreams and wishes come true, I feel like the John Jones and Francis Ngannou fight is one of the fights that we can make happen. Or should make happen.
Can you compare, like, give an honest take of this too?
Yeah.
Compare John Jones's mental, game to Francis's mental game.
I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, obviously Francis is extremely mentally tough. I mean, John is the ultimate competitor, but I don't think mental fortitude has anything to do with you getting knocked out. It's not really a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think John loses due to him not being well prepared or him not being skillful or technical. It's just in heavyweight, it's a high probability of someone getting knocked out. Like Francis, like I said before, he's one of the only heavyweights, probably the only heavyweight that has never been knocked out in the UFC, who had a long career. So I think it's just odds and percentages at that point. But do I think John would lose because he's mentally weaker? No, he's one of the greatest fighters.
I'm saying he would win because he's mentally stronger.
Yeah, but I get what you, because I'm always on the mental.
No.
But I get what you saying.
I don't think that
don't
matter.
matter.
What does
you
mental,
ain't lying, though,
what does mental fortitude matter if you're gonna knock me the fuck?
Look at Cyril Gane versus
But
Jones.
Cyril Gane isn't.
Cyril Gane versus Francis. He's in his head because that's his teammate.
Sure.
And versus Jones and Cyril Gane, the mental
Well, that's the thing. So Cyril Gane didn't have any respect for John Jones at the time when they fought. That man thought that John Jones was moving up a weight class. It's been a minute since he even, fought. And, you see what Cyril Gane doing, playing FIFA, playing video games and stuff like that. And even John Jones do it. Like, while he playing video games, I'm watching tape, right? But going back to what you said, though, but when you fight a dude like Francis Ngannou, and I don't want to bring him up, but it's just like when you got guys speaking about fighting Francis, like my man Emperor, right? Like, you can say these things and you can be confident in your ability. But when you get in that cage, it's just the reality is really going to hit, literally, right? And things are going to show for what it is. So sometimes, you can play the mentality game with it, but at the end of the day, all those things aren't going to matter when you talk about the pure ability of the other fighter and the other skill set.
I agree. Because I think if they were to fight, I think that it either is one of 2 ways, and I don't think mental fortitude even plays a factor in it. I think John grapples in dominant decision, and Francis just doesn't have the skill set to deal with that because John's just such a good grappler, or John gets knocked out. I don't see anything in between, and I don't think mental fortitude has to because, the old saying, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. But it's different when you get punched in the face and you're not there afterward. Another thing too, just to kind of think about is, Francis was fairly new to MMA when he fought Stipe that first time. He was pretty inexperienced. So to see him today calm, patient when he was training with Usman and all that stuff.
Yeah.
To just wait. He has the type of power to change the night at any moment in time. There's no point of rushing. He can knock you out at any moment. And once he kind of figured that out, I just don't see anybody being able to deal with that.
Yeah, one of God's chosen child, boy. He ain't never seen the bright lights, boy. I ain't seen them motherfuckers a couple times. All right, though. So let's go ahead and call it out. All right, y'all, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that episode of the Brick Brother Podcast, man. Make sure that y'all like down at the bottom. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that bell button for notifications, man, and lock in with us. Check you next time.